Hello, everybody.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, today we're going to be doing another deck profile. I feel like every set I do, I basically do a DanDevimon deck profile. I don't know why. I don't know what attracts me to it. I like the play style of it a lot. And I'm not really a purple player otherwise. Like, I never played like Lilith Loop or anything, but whatever. Anyways, that's what we're bringing you today is a DanDevimon deck. And I'm calling this one Tamer Hate. And you'll see why. But I will say, I did actually play this at my locals. I practiced a little bit. I built it yesterday when I'm recording this. But I did play it, and it did pretty well. I went 2-1 at my locals. And I beat, just for reference, I beat a blue hybrid and a yellow hybrid, and I lost to a Christmas hybrid, a green and red. But the one that I lost, it was close regardless, but the two games I lost were like mega bricks, like 15 play costs or more in my opening hand. We weren't playing mulligans, so it was just like kind of dead in the water, right? But so I still have a lot of confidence in the deck, and you will see why. It's a pretty crazy deck, and I actually have a sideboard as well if you play against somebody who isn't Tamer heavy like Jessamon. I don't know if it's good against Jessamon, to be frank. Like, Jessamon still might do well against it, but it's an option, right? Yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the Tamer Hate deck profile. All right, so let's start with the babies real quick. Pretty straightforward stuff. I went for the Demi-Miras, the on deletion, draw one, trash one. It can really make the difference in terms of manipulating your trash. It happened several times where I was like, oh, I think I have 6, and if I trash something in my hand when this gets deleted, I'll have 7. I can bring back a DanDevi early game. So Demi-Mira is my card of choice for DanDevi decks right now. Just a blind trash 2 never feels good. I would rather draw and choose. So 4 Demi-Miras, and then 1 of the Sunamon. I just want 5 babies in there just to have them. Maybe if you want a different one, this one's kind of a floater. I just picked this one because sometimes I do trashing effects and I can draw an extra card. But 1 Sunamon. Babies. Demi-Mira is actually pretty important, to be frank, but that's otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Then let's get into the whole thing that makes this deck work, to be frank, which is the promo Demi-Devi. If you didn't know, this one says on deletion, if you have 7 or more Devimons in your trash, then you can bring a DanDevi from your trash onto the field for free. Now, the way that this works, if you're not familiar with DanDevi, is you can actually count itself and its stack when it hits the trash into that 7 count. So if you've only got 3 in trash, right? And then this has like Devimon and a Lady Devi on top of it, that will actually be 6. And so long as one of those, and then if you have the Demi-Mira underneath it, you can trash 1 more. So you can actually go from 3 in trash, it gets deleted, it sees its stack and itself. You trash 1 more thing because you can choose the order of operations, then a DanDevi is back. So it's a very good way to early game get a DanDevi out. So just some sequencing stuff there. If you're looking to play DanDevi and it feels very slow, just make sure you're playing the Demi-Devis correctly. Outside of that, we got 4 of the EX1 Demi-Devimon. Now, this one has retaliation. The only weird thing is you can't attack opponent's Digimon unless you have a Myotismon on the field. Sometimes I never actually used the retaliation effect directly. It was just another Devimon that is annoying if you're playing against green or Jessamon or whatever. It's like, hey, I don't know if you actually want to like try to remove this from the board with like piercing or anything because it has retaliation. So in some practice matches, it did come up where a green player was like, well, crap, I can rest it, but I don't want to swing over this. So yeah, it's just another Devimon, and it has some benefits to it. And then the other rookies we've got is 4 of the 2-cost Demi-Devimon. I opted for this version over the 4K one because I don't think the DP matters, to be frank. And I would rather have something that doesn't cost anything on Evo if I Evo it in Raising. So just the vanilla 2-cost drop Demi-Devimons. That's all the rookies, just 12. If you want to tweak the deck list, you certainly can. In the level 4 slot, you could maybe find room to like take 1, add 1, get to 13 or 14 maybe. But yeah, 12 rookies. Then we got champions, we got 4 of the Blocker Devimon, 1 cost Evo. Blocker is surprisingly good, and then if you have things that are climbing over your blockers, like a lot of the hybrids, they're going to be 6k. Doesn't matter. If this is on top of a Demi Devimon and you have enough stuff in trash, they're going to think twice about swinging, because you can be like, I'll sack this and get a DanDevi, and we're fine. We're Gucci. So really like the Blocker Devimon for that effect. The next card is 4 of the Retaliation Devimon. Now, last night when I was playing it at locals, I didn't have these in at all. I was just testing the EX1 Devimon that has an heritable on deletion, return a level 4 from your trash to your hand. And that never came up. I just would rather have Retaliation straight up. It's just better. And I only had 2 of those, so I opted for 4 of these to see more champions. Every now and again, I would be a little bit champion short. So I didn't like that. But yeah, 4 of the Retaliation Devis. And then here's where the list starts to get spicy. We have 2 of the Eismon Scatter Mode. Now, this is a new card from BT7. On deletion, draw 3, trash 2 in your hand. Cool. And it's only a 4 play cost. So if you're worried about the rookie count, this is actually pretty cheap to get onto the field. So 4 play cost, level 4 there. And if you're playing 2 scatter modes, you might as well play a couple of the Eismons. So this whole combo, the way that it works, if you trash Eismon from your hand using one of your effects, any trashing effect, Lady Devi, Eismon, Demi-Mira, whatever, and if this scatter mode is in your trash, you can play this card without paying its memory cost. So, in your turn, for each Eismon scatter mode, this Digimon gets plus 2k. That almost never comes up. Don't stress about the plus 2k. Maybe you'll have a 7k Eismon or something and you can swing over something, but for the most part, it doesn't matter. But yeah, so the nice combos here is obviously if the scatter mode gets deleted, you can draw 3, trash 2, trash 1 of these, bring it right onto the field because it sees the scatter mode that just died. But otherwise, there's a lot of other trashing effects that so long as one of these is in the trash, you get an extra body. And it combos nicely with deleting your own bodies to do things to your opponent and your opponent's side of the board, and then actually getting bodies back onto the board, which you'll see in a second how that whole situation of combos comes together. Now, getting into the real Tamer hate, because all of this just kind of looks like an updated DanDevi, but we are playing 4 Neo Devimons. Now, if you've been watching a lot of sideboard videos, you've probably heard a lot about this, but this is the most valuable in this deck, straight up. No other deck is going to get more value out of playing 4 of this card because it's a Devimon, right? It's fulfilling multiple roles. But this one, opponent's turn. When your opponent plays a Tamer, gain 3 memory. So it's plays. It's not from hand. It's just plays. So if you have 3 Tamers that come out with blue or whatever, but it's only opponent's turn, so it doesn't work if you check a Tamer. You can't gain 3 memory. But this really messes with hybrid decks because they're sat there, and I played against, all hybrids last night, and it was super awkward for them. They felt like they had to use removal just to get rid of these Neo Devis so that they could get back into their strategy. Wicked annoying. I would play this at a 4 count if you really want to play the Tamer hate version of the deck. Opponent's turn, inheritable. When an opponent's Tamer becomes suspended, gain a memory. Almost never comes up, to be frank. But you want to keep this guy on the field if you can, especially early game, just to slow the hybrid player down a little bit. Then we have 3 Lady Devis. Does feel weird to only play 3 Lady Devis because the draw 2, trash 2 effect is amazing, but I felt like I wanted to opt for more Neo Devis in this version. There's a lot of draw trash in the deck now between Eismon Scatter Mode, Lady Devi, Demi-Mira, all that good stuff. So it felt fine to go down to 3. We will see. I had 4 and 4 of these last night, but one card I wanted to make space for is a 1 of Chimeramon. Chimeramon on play, delete one of your other Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 5 or lower. So Lady Devi, inheritable, by the way. When you use an option, delete one of your opponent's level 3. It's useful situationally. But the reason I wanted to get 1 Chimera is I have a few cards in the deck that synergize with it really well. But Chimeramon, you can pop something that has the Demi-Devi underneath it to pop one of your opponent's level 5s. Then you can draw 1, trash 1 with Demi-Mira. If you trash an Eismon, so you can bring back a DanDevi, so you can play Chimera, pop a level 5, bring back a DanDevi, trash an Eismon, bring an Eismon. So it's kind of a destroy a level 5 nail bone, but better because you're getting a level 6 It's crazy. I was just thinking about this card. This card has so much potential. It's only a one of in the deck because I don't think you really want more. And we have ways to play it from trash as well that isn't Zwart. But yeah, I like it. I like it in the deck. So that's all the level 5. So we got 12, 12, 8. And now let's go into the level 6s. The level 6s here, you know it. You know him, you love him. We got 4 DanDevimons. This is a bit of what the deck revolves around with, like getting recursion of level 6s. But if you didn't know, DanDevi has a pretty annoying effect as well. Opponent's turn once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, trash the top of your opponent's stack. So if they trash it, if they check it, doesn't matter. Once per turn, one of these can trash the top. If you have multiple of these on the field, they will get rid of 1 security, you will get rid of 2. Now, it is once per turn, so they can still rush you down. But if they can't win on that turn, that's when it gets super annoying because they are putting themselves typically in a situation where you win the following turn. That's what makes that annoying. Another thing which did actually come up in one of the games, on deletion, your opponent trashes 2 cards in their hand. Against the Christmas deck, the one game that I won, my opponent went down to like 1 card in hand because he just didn't have a great game. He was a little bricked up. And then, you know, he had to get rid of the DanDevi because he couldn't swing because I would win otherwise. He gets rid of it. Then all of a sudden he's down to 1 card in hand. So we got 4 DanDevis there. And then the other level 6 is Malomyotismon. This does turn the Retaliation Devi on effectively. You can swing with it into an opponent. You can always swing into the security, but into an opponent's Digimon directly. So also, when another Digimon is deleted, gain a memory all turns is kind of nasty. If your opponent is being aggressive and checking security, but you have this on board, every time one of their dudes dies, you gain a memory. That's annoying. It has piercing, so you can swing over things to gain a memory. And if you're using other effects, right, like Chimeramon to blow something up on your opponent's side, it's not a once per turn effect. So if you Chimeramon your board to blow up something on their board, that's effectively 2 or more memory that you're gaining back. So it goes from a 7 cost to like a 5 or even a 4 cost situationally. Or actually, you can make it a 3 cost because we are also playing 4 Zwart defeats here. So the reason I'm saying you could actually make this a 3 cost is you can... this actually gets kind of silly. No, it's a 4 cost. You can play a Chimeramon for 7, and if this is on the field, pop a Zwart defeat. That's 1 memory, so that goes down to 6. You will pop a level 5, goes down to 5. You will pop something else on the board, goes down to 4. And then all the while, you're probably bringing back a DanDevi and maybe something else onto the field. So there's a lot of crazy combos here. But yes, the Zwart defeat also has on Digivolve, delete one of your opponent's Tamers. So more Tamer hate in this card. So we have 4 Neodevis, 4 Zwart defeats, can also come out of security. Filthy card. Filthy. In terms of the rest of the Tamer hate, we have got a 1/1 line of Lucemon for some recovery. Pretty nice, actually. And Lucemon Chaos Mode. So this is a recover 1. You can reduce it to a 5 play cost in your hand if you have 10 or more cards in your trash. And it can only evolve into Lucemon Chaos Mode. And now what Chaos Mode does is if you evolve it or play it from your hand, either one, or just play it, not from your hand, or play it, you can either delete one of your opponent's Tamers or delete one of their level 6 or lower Digimon. So it is a straight up deletion. Now it is 14 play cost. It does get reduced by 3 for every 10 cards you have in your trash, but like that's super late game. And like I did get a 5 cost Chaos Mode on 1 turn in one of my games last night, so it is possible. But yeah, more Tamer hate here. So we've got 4, 8, 9 Tamer hate cards in the deck currently. In terms of the options, you'll see a couple more Tamer hates here. We do have Back for Revenge. This is a card I'm playing around with. I like it if you want to crash something, swing something small to hopefully have it die in security, bring out a DanDevi, all for the 2 memory. No security effect is like not great, but like, I don't know. I'm playing it in here. It's nice sometimes. You get your bodies back. Yeah, it can help, but just 2 of the Back for Revenges. Now, this is where the Tamer hate also can come into play. There's 2 Dead or Alives. If you don't know what Dead or Alive does, you can bring back a purple level 5 Digimon from your trash to the field without paying its memory cost. And if there are 10 or more cards in your trash, you can bring back a Lucamon instead. Something with Lucamon in its name. Now, Lucamon Chaos Mode is already a purple level 5. So you can play this even if there's not 10 in your trash to play Lucamon Chaos Mode, pop a level 6, pop a Tamer, one of the two, right? And it turns this Chaos Mode into an 8 cost rather than maybe a 14, which can be useful. You could also play the Lucamon, which I did do yesterday. I played a Dead or Alive to play a Lucamon to recover one and get a body on board. Can be filthy. And Chaos Mode can evolve into any of your level 6s. There's no restriction on Chaos Mode, so it's just a level 5. But you can also Dead or Alive a Chimeramon out, right? From the trash, which is why I said there's other ways to get Chimeramon out. Or a Neo Devi if you want to slow your opponent down. Yeah, a lot of fun options there. Finally, with the Tamer Hate theme, we have 2 all deletes. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You return an Omnimon from your field to your hand. You do have to trash all the cards. So this is something that I do forget often, which is if you play this card and you have a Zwart defeat over something with those inheritables you love, that won't work. Because you bring this back to hand, you trash the cards that were underneath it so they don't actually get deleted. And then you delete the board. And this deletes everything. Everything that's not in raising gets deleted. Your Tamers, your opponent's Tamers, your Digimon, your opponent's Digimon. The reason I think All Delete works best in this deck, more than anything, is if you have other Digimon with trashing effects, with the Demi-Devi underneath it, you can play the All Delete, delete your opponent's board, and still have 1-2 bodies on the board. If you're super lucky, you can even play Back for Revenge on one of those Digimon, not the Zwart, because you'll trash the cards, but Back for Revenge on something, you'll end up with potentially 3 bodies if you Back for Revenge the stack with Demi-Devi, All Delete, DanDevi comes out, Demi-Mera draw trash, Eismon comes out, and whatever was at the top of that Demi-Devi stack comes back with Back for Revenge. Yes, your opponent has 10 memory, but I have found in this meta, giving your opponent 10 memory with hybrids doesn't matter. Yes, they can rebuild some hybrids to a degree, but like at the point you're doing this, you want to do it in a moment where either you know you're going to lose the following turn or you know you're going to win, and all you need to do is delete their board. So it actually came into play. I think I played it 4 or 5. I think I played it 5 times last night. 5 times in 3 rounds. 2 times in 1 game. And I won that game. Like, you think, oh, you're playing All Delete twice, you must be losing. No, I won the game. I played All Delete twice. So it is a legitimate card. People on stream were like, my gosh, this was straight up, this was kind of an MVP card in a lot of ways in the deck last night, because it put my opponent in situations where they're like, I have nothing. I have nothing on the board. And yes, I have 10 memory, but you have 2 bodies. I have no security and nothing on the board, and nobody plays blockers in hybrid decks. And that's it. And then you're done. And then you're just done and you win. So pretty filthy deck there. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend this deck if you're looking, if your locals is like, which it probably is right now, full of Tamers and hybrid decks. This is definitely a nasty surprise for them. So that's the main deck. In terms of the side deck, I made the side deck if you play against something that isn't a hybrid deck, because against a non-hybrid deck, it's not a very aggro deck, and the All Delete is just bad otherwise. The All Delete is almost certainly bad in non-hybrid against non-hybrid decks because their strategies are getting bodies on board, not Tamers. So against those, I did want to throw in 3 Cherubimons. Cherubimon has when Digivolving, you can play a purple Tamer card from your trash without paying its memory cost. Then for each Tamer in play, delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So it has some deletion effects, some control. You can put Tamers onto the field, and this one does, the sideboard does play Tamers. So I put 3 Cherubis. I would take out the Mallows and 1 DanDevi for the 3 Cherubis. In terms of the rest, oh, it also has on deletion, for each Tamer you have in play, you may play a level 3 card from your trash without paying its memory. So you can really flood a board after this gets deleted and set up kind of a win state effectively. We are playing some Tamers. I will play 2 Mats and 2 Karis. I just like the recovery with Matt. I like the weird memory shenanigans with Kari. It's useful, right? This is also fairly cheap relative. I didn't want 4 Mats. That just was too expensive. So This felt like a good array of Tamers. In terms of taking other stuff out, I would probably take out the Lucimon Chaos mode. I would take out one of the level 5s, and I would take out both all deletes. And that would be some stuff for that. And then there's 3 more cards. I have 2 Darkness Claws and 1 Bushi Agumon. The Bushi, if this gets deleted on your turn, the Bushi comes out into play from the trash potentially. You have a rush body, you can win the game. Deathclaw is a way to ensure that it will get deleted on your turn, right? Like you could swing with it, it doesn't die. Deathclaw, delete one of your opponent's Digimon, bring 4 things back, maybe a Bushi and the Lucimon. Yeah, this basically allows you to like control what's getting deleted when. So yeah, that's my sideboard for non-hybrid decks. I don't know how well this does against things. Jessamon still may just be too much for it to handle, but you know, that is how I would change it if you happen to be playing a non-hybrid based deck. Anyways, that is going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hopefully this inspired you to try it out. Definitely a fun deck. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was really surprising how well the deck did last night, to be frank. So give it a go. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm going to send you off now. Carpe awesome.